I think it's about escapism. I think our music generally is about escapism.
Do you think that you mentioned India, they're more open for this kind of thoughts maybe? Because I think your music is now spreads actually to all corners of the world, if I can say.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe is it for you important to get that message across maybe as well as here to maybe another place in the world where it can have different values in the end?
Maybe. We've recently been invited to play some weird places like Kathmandu and, you know, places you wouldn't normally associate with heavy metal. So, I'll give you a good example. There's a band called Chthonic. I think it's Chthonic. Anyway, they're from Thailand or somewhere like that, and they're actually they're like representatives of their entire country. My friend recorded one of their albums, and the president rings him up to this guy. You know, it's like a heavy metal band, a really fast heavy metal band. But because they're, I guess, ambassadors for their country, it doesn't matter if they're heavy metal or whatever.
They're used as a cultural export in that way, or?
Yeah, no, they're totally. And I mean, they are very, you know, they're an extreme band, but, you know, to have the president ring up.
You haven't had that with Tony Blair or whoever? Or
Tony Blair?
No,
well,
Brown
yeah,
maybe,
you
or
know.
whoever. Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about, I also did with Paul, about one story, one song in specific, which will be also have a video clip and will be released somewhere here, the Forgive Me Fathers song. Can you remember you first heard the riffs or the song as a basic structure? What triggered it in you?
I think it's probably the only song on the album that has a very general feeling. I mean, the rest of it's a story, obviously, but I think it's very personal because it kind of represents what I'm about as well, where you suddenly realise you've been doing things that maybe society wouldn't call right. And it's basically asking about forgiveness, but at the same time realising that this is the person you are and it doesn't really matter. And the video is kind of representative of that as well, because it obviously doesn't follow the storyline of the album, because it just doesn't. And so it has a very religious aspect. And in fact, in the video, I play a priest, which is obviously not my given forte. Yeah, it's a very catchy song. I know exactly why we did it as a video, is because it's normally our songs are very long, and in the past we've had to do videos and cut them straight in half, so it's not really a proper song anymore. And I think it's the only song on the album that is the same, you know, the same length as, you know, it's 4.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, you mentioned that it had as a personal aspect, a personal touch to it. Can you describe a little bit what was your idea that you want to get out, and maybe the personal side of it?
I think it's about escapism. I think our music generally is about escapism, and I think sometimes you have to exercise your demons. And the way I exercise my demons is to put it out in music. So I did want a story, but at some point or another, I wanted kind of to get things off my chest.
Can you give an example of what you got out of your chest, maybe from?
Okay, all right. You're very pushy.
No.
I don't know. Okay. Sometimes I, you know, my family's quite religious. My grandparents are very religious, and sometimes, even though they think the sun shines out my arse, you know, it's another English saying, I feel sometimes bad about things I've done, even though I believe 100% in what I do. Sometimes I need that kind of release. I need to express myself, maybe even ask for forgiveness from whatever, you know. I'm not a believer in God or anything like that, but sometimes you do need to find some sort of escape valve, I guess. Maybe it's just like looking for penitence, maybe, from whatever, I don't know.